Set sail, One Piece fans, as the stormy seas of mystery and adventure beckon, the Grand Line pulses with secrets, and today, it's time to unravel some of the biggest questions swirling around this epic pirate saga. These are personal takes on the chaos and wonders of One Piece, opinions, not carved in stone truths. So with log pose in hand, let's navigate these queries, as if chasing the One Piece itself. Question 1. Are the giants in One Piece, aside from Dorry, Broggy and Loki, just a bunch of random characters? Because an army of Tontattas might be more impressive than these giants, who haven't shown anything extraordinary yet. Despite everything said about the giants, they haven't shown anything impressive so far. I'd even dare to say that Dorry and Broggy have only stood out lately because they survived the Egghead incident. Their ability to block attacks from some of the Gorosei has made them stand out from the rest, because let's remember 2 years ago, they were easily neutralized by Galdino, and destroying Kid's ship when he was already defeated, although it looked epic, wasn't a big deal. Big Mom, being just a child, took down the entire Elbaf, killing one of their legendary giants like it was nothing. And while we know how powerful Big Mom is, she was just a kid back then, not even a tenth of what she later became. Right now, perhaps only Loki will end up saving face for the giants. And as I mentioned in a previous video, it's only because of his overwhelming power that this army of giants will seem strong, when he'd be contributing almost all the power. Question 2. Could there be an event, similar to Marineford with Ace's execution, that pushes Luffy into a direct war with the world government and Marines, kicking off the final Great War arc? Well, it hasn't been confirmed yet who the faction attacking the Holy Land is, but it's most likely the revolutionaries. And if they, who have already started a direct war, are defeated by the government and their top commanders are captured, that would be a good pretext for Luffy to want to rescue them afterward, similar to what happened with Ace. In this case, I feel it would affect Luffy a lot if SABO is captured and his public execution is announced. The same goes for his father, Dragon, and Ivankov. Luffy at least holds Ivankov and SABO in high regard, so it would be a good strategy for the government to draw Luffy's attention, who by then will most likely have already become the Pirate King. Let's be clear, chronologically, Luffy doesn't have much time left to become the Pirate King. I'd say that in less than a month within the One Piece world, all the events will have concluded, unless there's a forced time skip. The fact that the fight against the revolutionaries started just before Luffy fights for the One Piece is a clear sign that this faction will fall defeated. Question 3. Was young Garling's hair color blonde, or did the fandom get it wrong by assuming he was a redhead like Shanks? Maybe his kids got their hair color from their mother. So, Garling's hair problem was noticeable, because we had all seen his hair as red in the color art, and suddenly seeing it appear blonde felt quite strange. But, Garling's hair color was blonde. The fandom painted him as a redhead. The colorist got carried away by Shanks' hair color, and if we analyze it closely, it makes sense that he's not a redhead, since in his appearance in God Valley in the manga, his hair is noticeably light. In contrast, Shanks has darkened hair, because red is a stronger color. Likewise, Shamrock also has darkened hair in the manga, so it's very likely he is a redhead, or exaggerating that it's a dark color. Although I'm 100% sure Shamrock is also a redhead, since in Elbaf, they've mistaken him for Shanks. If he had a different hair color, they would have mentioned it. Plus, in the anime he's already appeared, and although it hasn't been confirmed, it's almost certain he's the guy who spoke with the Gorosei during the Levely events. Going back to Garling, his children probably got their hair color from their mother. Let's hope we get to see the mother of those two at some point. Question 4. Could one reason the world government targeted Vegapunk be a secret alliance with the revolutionaries, leaking critical government information? I don't think Vegapunk was a spy for the revolutionaries. Although he was friends with Dragon, he made it very clear when they reunited in Ohara that he had no intention of joining him. What drove Vegapunk was science, and he knew he had more opportunities to grow by being on the side of the world government. He was drawn to the Void Century because he discovered that there was a kingdom with technology far more advanced than his own. He simply wanted to uncover that kind of technology. Being with the revolutionaries would have made that task much harder, since he'd be under the government's scrutiny. On the other hand, being with the government gave him absolute freedom to research whatever he wanted. Trying to decipher ancient history is what doomed him. If York hadn't betrayed him, they'd still be living in Egghead, as if nothing had happened. Question 5. Will Robin awaken Armament Haki in this arc, or has she reached her limit as a fighter? For me, Robin right now is a somewhat unpredictable character, in terms of her evolution as a fighter. I feel she has all the potential to develop Armament Haki, and also to awaken her fruit. At the same time, it seems like she might have already reached her limit. She could develop Armament Haki in the next chapter, or One Piece could end without her ever showing she can use Haki. Right now, I even see her closer to awakening her fruit than using Armament Haki, although I feel the latter would be much more useful in combat because she already has great mastery mastery over her fruit, to the point she might not need an awakening. However, against intangible users, Armament Haki is necessary, not to mention her attacks would be much stronger by default. Question 6. Is it possible that Rox is still alive, hiding in Laughtail, ready to spill major secrets about the world government to Luffy? And could Laughtail be inside a whale island, constantly moving underwater, which is why no one's found it? It sounds hard to believe, but it makes sense. Rox being alive would be very interesting. These kinds of legendary characters from their time always have very interesting things to contribute to the story. The amount of information he'd provide would be unreal. Many revelations about the world government, especially about the Void Century, not much though, because it doesn't seem like he managed to uncover that kind of information. Still, the chances of him being alive are very low, if not non-existent. As for Laughtail being inside a whale island, I don't know how feasible that is, because if it's constantly moving, then it doesn't make sense to decipher the 4 locations of the road poneglyphs to chart a path to the mythical island. According to what's been said, combining these 4 locations will point to Laughtail in the center, but if it's a whale island traveling everywhere, the main location marked by the road poneglyphs would lead to nothing. That's why Laughtail has to be in a fixed place. Well, the video ends here. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, because even the Pirate King needs a crew. We'll meet again with another amazing video. Until then, stay awesome, and don't get lost like Zoro.